should be live now. Let me know if, Maddie, shoot me a message on here if you can see me. Maddie, I see you message that you don't see me. There we go. All right, now you see me. Good. All right, let me give it just a second and then go ahead and get into our Facebook Live Q&A. Go through some different reasons on why you should go solar, a lot of misconceptions surrounding solar, some common objections that people have with solar as well. I'm going to answer those questions and then take some Q&A with that as well. So give it just a second, get this set up, and then we're gonna get going with it. Feel free to post any questions that you have in the comment box as well, and we'll, as I'm going through this, I'll be happy to answer those questions in the comment section. So I'll pause what I'm going through so that I can make sure to answer those. All right. So let's go ahead and go through. I want to get us started with a few reasons why to go solar. So solar's been it's been pretty hot topic recently with the news. A lot of people have seen good and bad about solar, but we want to initially go over why you should go solar. So one reason to go solar, you can lower your monthly bills, your monthly electric bill. It's something that you can actually take control of. If you're a homeowner, if you're a business owner, whoever you are, if you have an electricity payment, going solar will help lock that price in, prevent you from inflation too, so rising energy costs, and will give you a fixed price consistently. So instead of letting the utility company dictate how much you're paying, instead you can take control of your own energy bill. So that's one thing that solar can do for you. And as I mentioned before, lower monthly payments, and then the inflation. That's another big thing is, where I'm at here in Florida, we have Florida Power and Light. They just posted on the news that they are raising their rates 18%. They're looking at an 18% increase. That's pretty common across the country with all different utility companies, is rate raises. So one thing that solar can do for you is also lock in that rate, as I mentioned earlier, and prevent you from being subject to those rate increases. So it's one thing less that you have to worry about with inflation. We hear about inflation with everything else, from lumber to gas to now it's meat and dairy and all these other things. So if we all had the opportunity to lock our price in, we use an analogy that we use a lot is gasoline. So if you could have locked your price in for gas 20 years ago, and paid whatever the price was 20 years ago, I would have been 12. I think gas is about $1 a gallon, maybe just under $1 a gallon. So if you could have locked your price in 20 years ago and you're still paying $1 a gallon for it, how beneficial would that be for you today? Well, that's the same thing that solar does for everybody, is it locks in that price for however long you have solar for. So down the road, historical averages with inflation for utilities, it differs from utility to utility, but a pretty common average is between 3 and 5% annually. So imagine 10 years down the road when inflation is up, call it, let's go on the lower side, let's go 3%. It's 3%, but 10 years down the road, that's 30%. You're paying 30% more for electricity, the same electricity from 10 years ago, but you're just paying 30% more for it now. Whereas again, switching to solar, you are locked in at that price. You're not paying that 30% more with it. So obviously that shows that it can be a really good return on your investment as well. So, depending on the price, what you're, that's why we're doing this Facebook Live. But as long as you have a reputable, legitimate solar company that's giving you a fair and an honest price, the return on your investment that we typically see as a company is anywhere from 5 to 8 years. So it depends on a few things, depends on your market, depends on how much your bill is right now, what your offset is. So how many do you want additional panels on top of what you're already producing? So do you want to overproduce? Do you want to send some energy back to the utility company? Maybe down the road, do you plan on adding a pool? So you need some additional solar panels to cover your usage. Well, that will also dictate what your ROI is, or your return on your investment is with solar. We've heard a lot of people say that it's not a great return on your investment, or it takes, we've heard 20 years it could take to get a return on your investment. That could be true if you're going with the wrong company. If you're not using a good, reputable company that is just out there to make a quick buck, then yeah, that could be the case. But that's why we being a solar sales company, we encourage you to get multiple options, multiple prices, multiple bids on solar to see who's competitive and who isn't. So see Keith posting, how long does it take to pay off so that I'm actually saving money monthly? I see, and there's another post about that as well. So that depends. So it depends on what your option is. So if you go finance, if you go lease, we have those options. We look for day one, month one, month two, to immediately save money. I say month two, month three at the most, because it does take, there is a ramp up period from when you get installed to when your system gets turned on to when it catches up to what you're consuming. So you're constantly consuming energy every single day from the power company. You're using it in your home with your microwave, your air conditioner, your refrigerator, whatever it might be. So your solar has to catch up. You got to give it a month or two, depending on what the time of year is. Now in summertime, it tends to be a little bit higher or a little bit longer. So it'll usually take a couple more months to catch up to what your current consumption is. But with finance and with leasing, we really see that immediate savings. Solar tends to save people. I'm probably jumping a little bit ahead here, but that's what I was wanting to do if the questions were there. Solar typically saves people, depending on your market, anywhere from 20 to 30% versus what you're currently paying. And that's just right now. That's 20 to 30% right now, immediately. That's not including that 30% rate increase, 10 years down the road. So you're really, if it's, call it 20% today, that's really 50% 10 years down the road when the prices increase with what your utility company is charging 30%. So as much as the utility company escalates, that's how much your savings goes up as well. So good question there. All right, what happens if I sell my home? Which that works out, because that's actually exactly what I'm going into next anyways, is increasing your home value. So again, we encourage everybody, we just went to a job yesterday that somebody got taken advantage of. It wasn't a good deal for them. It wasn't a good price. The system isn't even working for them. So, you want to first and foremost make sure that you have a reputable company, and even just doing a little bit of footwork and seeing that this company that we went to, or the house that we went to that they installed on, they have every review on Better Business Bureau is negative. It's bad, and they're all saying the same thing too. So you know it's going to be a consistent, or you see some consistency with the bad reputation. So you most likely want to veer away from them. So that's one of the big things that we're wanting to do on these Facebook Live events, is try to get the awareness out there to go with reputable companies, again, because we don't want anybody getting taken advantage of. So if you have a good, you got a fair price on your solar system, you go to sell your house, solar has come a long way from what it used to be. It used to be that you had a lien on your home. So that's another common misconception as well nowadays, because they think, well, no, I don't want to go solar because, I plan on selling my house in 5 years, or I think roughly the number is 7 years that people live in their home. So, solar doesn't make sense for me because I'm gonna sell my house. Well, there's some very reputable companies out there that have done some tests, some studies to show that solar is beneficial for you, and it actually improves your house cost, the price of your home, the value of your home. Zillow did a report back in 2019 that solar improves your home value by 4.1%. So it's not a huge jump, but again, 4.1% increase on your home value on top of you saving money monthly. So you're saving money, plus you just added some value to your home. Whereas, I'm looking at a pool right across from my house. Pools don't typically pay $60,000, $70,000 for a pool. You're not going to get that return on your investment for that pool. That's just a pretty common fact out there. And it also doesn't save you any money. It costs you more money. So you have to spend all this money out of pocket. It doesn't save you anything. If anything, it adds to your utility bill. So people with pools are great solar customers because they save even more money. So whereas solar, again, it does save you money immediately, and it adds 4.1%. We do see some. There is I think it was the Berkeley Institute did a more recent study where they showed as high as 20% increase on the value of your home. So that you see the benefits, you see the trends coming of more homes with solar, and the more value that they have with it. So if you sell your home, it fully transfers over to the new homeowner. So they take over, whether it's a finance, if you decide to finance, they get grandfathered in, they get to take over that financing. So that also includes the warranties. Solar has, most solar products have 25-year warranties on them. So they get to take advantage of that 25-year warranty. They get whatever is remaining on the term, on the contract. So if you have a 25-year fixed, interest rate, they get to take over the interest rate. So just looking at some of the questions here, Marina, I'll get to your question in just a second. That's a good one too, about the tax credit. So if they get to take over the finance and get grandfathered into that, or you can decide to get a payoff on your solar system, and you can pay it off, lump it into the price of your home, and then be able to have solar as an option for the buyer with no electric bill. Essentially, if it's, there is, I want to put a little asterisk there. I say there's no solar bill as long as the system's built the correct way. Then we essentially put enough panels on there, and we went off your utility usage, or we used Genability, which is a really good company that we use to go off of square footage on homes, given a detailed usage report of homes in the surrounding area. So as long as the system is built correctly and you're covered, essentially they're going to have a home with no utility bill and solar renewable energy to power their home as on top of it. Leasing, same idea. You don't own the system with leasing, but it fully transfers over to the new homeowner. There's no lien that's put on the home either with leasing. If they, and say for some reason, because pretty common is a 650 credit score to get solar with financing. We do have lower credit score options as well, but that's pretty common, 650. If they don't have a 650 credit score and they're wanting to buy your home, all that would happen is there's a $250 transfer fee. So essentially they would take over your solar, your monthly payment, and it would be $250 if they don't have a 650 credit score. If they do, it just transfers automatically over to them. And I can speak personally with a lease. The last home, if you couldn't tell, there's some moving boxes in here. I just moved in, but my last home had a lease on it. So I can speak personally on that. The lady that bought it, what we did was we showed her what we paid before. So we showed her what the utility company prices were, anywhere from $100 in the cool months where we didn't have to use the heating, and then it jumped up to close to $400 in the summertime because of all the usage. So we switched over to solar, and we had a fixed monthly payment of $135 a month. So we showed her that. We showed her, this is what we used to pay, this is what we're paying now, and this is what we're going to pay for the next 25 years. At that point, it was 23 years. This is what we'll pay for the next 23 years. It was a no-brainer. It's just, it's simple math, show them what the numbers are, and then it speaks for itself. Cash, if you have a cash system, it's obviously already paid for, and it just transfers over to the homeowner. They get it, simple as that. All right, Marina asked how to apply for the federal tax credit. So the tax credit is one of the tricky ones, not in a bad way, just in a way that we when we go and sit with a homeowner to do a consultation with them, we always will say, and we train everybody to say the same thing, that we are not a CPA, we're not a tax advisor. So we want to lead with that. So I'll do the same thing now. I'm not a tax advisor, but we understand solar. We've done so much with the tax credits. So there is an actual form for and can somebody look that up for me? The number of it, I think it's a 5648, something like that form, tax form. That's a renewable energy tax credit form. So what you do is, and we help you with this. When the time comes to do your taxes, we'll help you fill out the tax form. So it is a renewable energy tax credit form. And if anybody finds it, if you can post it up in the comments too, that would be helpful. So you put in the information, because it's a 26%, right now, it's a 26% federal tax credit on the total cost of the system. So whatever the total cost of the system is, you get a tax credit of 26% of that number. So you fill out the information on the form, put everything that you need to in there, and then you give that to your $56.95. That's what it is. Thank you, Keith. You give that to your tax advisor, or they'll have it already. They'll just need the details of the solar system, and they'll fill out all the information to get your tax credit applied for you. So hopefully that answered your question, Marina. If not, feel free to put another comment in there. I'll be happy to answer it as well. All right, let me go down some of these. So from with Natalie, it's another good one. It's actually going down my list anyways that I had. That's one of the next best things with solar too. And a lot of people ask, where's the catch? Because they hear this and they think, you save money, you get a fixed price per month, and then the next thing is how much it costs down. $0. Unless you pay cash, it's $0 out of pocket, $0 down. All you have is your first payment that comes up after installation. So depending on which option you go with, if you do leasing, it's 30 days after PTO. PTO is permission to operate the system. So after you get approval from the utility company to turn your system on, which we will communicate with you, then 30 days after that is when you get the first payment. But up until then, you've paid nothing. You paid nothing for solar. A lot of times, like right now, there's with leasing options, it is a 6 month for $6. So it's a special promotion going on right now. So for the first 6 months of your solar, you're only paying $1 a month for solar. So not only are you within that first 2-3 months is your utility bill taking a nosedive and going down to essentially nothing, but on top of that, you're not even paying for solar. It's a special promotion right now going on. So I put there should be a link. It's actually at the top of this. It's BYOSolar.com/live on the web, get a quote. So if you do want a quote, we're not doing this to try to push anybody into getting solar or talk anybody into getting solar. We're just trying to help educate people on solar. We see that as such a big obstacle is the education side of solar. So we just want to make sure everybody understands how solar works and ask the questions on here. But if you are interested in it, we have the link up there at in the top under BYOSolar Live Q&A. All right, so so $56.95. Thank you for posting that again, Keith. I think I'm too old to buy solar. We hear that one surprisingly a lot. I didn't realize that anybody's necessarily too old to buy anything, but the common thing that we come back to with somebody when they say they think they're too old is we ask, are you ever too old to save money? That's the big question, is because again, they think how solar used to be was you had to pay all this money out of pocket. Cash was the only option. There weren't all these great solar financing companies out there that we had to pick from with low interest rates that are fixed, that didn't put a lien on your home. So cash was the only option. So I could understand that if that's the only option and you're in your opinion too old to take advantage of solar and don't want to pay all this money out of pocket, that's probably the right thing. And that's what we try to do as advisors too, as energy advisors, is sit and talk to you and help understand your situation, what you're looking for, are you why you're interested in solar, or why you haven't been interested in solar, because maybe you don't understand or don't know about some of the new options that are out there. So what's great is you're really, with what we have nowadays, you're never too old for solar, because you're never too old to save money. If you're on a fixed income, solar is great because the monthly price every single month. It's not going to change. So you don't have to worry about price increases. You don't have to worry about these dreaded summer month bills that we're starting to get now. We're starting to feel the effects of, especially everybody that's out in the West Coast right now. Everybody feeling that heat wave that's coming through there. I had a customer email me the other day wanting to get solar as soon as possible because she's dreading, her exact words were, she's dreading this next bill that's coming in. So that's why we say you're never too old to get solar, because you're never too old to save money. So hopefully that helps answer that question. That's all that we're looking to do, is help you save some money and fix, if you're on a fixed budget, you can plan exactly for that fixed budget. And even now you can get 6 months for $1 a month. So save even more money with that option that we have out there. Can I get solar on any roof type? So good question on that. The answer is yes, except for there's one specific roof type that we can't put solar on. That roof type is the old wood shake roofs. I don't see them too often. I used to see them a little bit in California. There were neighborhoods, homes that still didn't have their roof redone, that had that wood shake roof. That's the only roof that we can't install solar on. And we get a lot of customers, a lot of people interested that don't realize that. They think, my house, I have a concrete tile roof. A lot of people think these are clay tiles. Clay tiles are a little bit older. They're not commonly used nowadays. It is, the price is quite a bit higher for clay tile roofs, but we keep even installing clay tile roof as well. But we do everything from concrete tile to clay tile to composite shingle to metal roofs. There's a standing seam metal roof. If you don't know what that is, if you Google it, if you have a metal roof and you're not sure what type it is, standing seam roof. We actually don't have to do any penetrations on a standing seam metal roof. So we have really good options for that as well. But there's not, besides a wood shake roof, there's no option of a roof type that we can't install on. Most areas too, especially out in, if it's anybody out in Arizona joining us, we have mobile homes that we do too. We're one of the few companies that install on mobile homes as well. So that's another one that we can install on, that we actually, a good portion of our customer base have mobile homes. All right, if my bills aren't high, it probably can't save me enough to make sense for me, can it? Not true either. We have, again, it's another popular question that we get. I only pay $100 a month. I only pay X amount per month for my utilities. Different users, it's all based on when you're using electricity too. Maybe you're paying $100 a month and that's all that you're paying, but you're using your energy at the most expensive time of the day. So if that's another good thing with solars, you don't have to be, you don't have to worry about as much as when you're using your electricity, what time of the day. Depending on that, you could have a lower price just because you're using energy from the utility company at the most expensive time of the day. But solar can still save you money. We still see that 20 to 30%, no matter what your monthly price is. What it does is, let's use a round number of $100. Maybe it's only $100 that you're spending per month, but still 20 to 30%. You're lowering your bill to $80 a month. $75 a month instead. And on top of that, again, I go back to the same thing, is on top of that is you also kind of hedge your bet. You don't have to worry about inflation. So not only, it might not be a ton of money that you're saving today, maybe $20, $30 isn't much to you to save per month, which I'll argue with that too, because you get a call from your cable provider, your cell phone provider, and they tell you, hey, we have a plan, we can give you the exact same thing that you have, but we can drop your price $20 to $30 a month. I mean, who wouldn't jump on that? Everybody would jump on. Savings is savings. If you have a gas station, you have two gas stations to pick from. One that's $3 a gallon, one that's $2 a gallon. I can guarantee you everybody on here is going to $2 a gallon gas. So that's essentially the same thing with solar. So if you're not paying much for electricity, you're going to be paying even less for solar on top of that. So it can make sense for you. I don't want to commit to 25 years. Another really common one. People think it's a big commitment, 25 years. We did cover earlier how it transfers over. So yeah, a lot of people don't live in their house for a full 25 years. Maybe it's 5, maybe it's 7, maybe it's 10 years. We do get some people that say this is our forever home. We'll get some that have little kids and say we're not leaving until our kids are in college. But if you don't want to commit to 25 years, the thing that I'll ask you is, how long are you committing to your utility company? That's a commitment that you have with the utility company when you sign up for utilities. You have to have utilities, as you have to have the lights on, you have to have heating and air conditioning, you have to have utilities in your house. So whether you like it or not, you're committed perpetually to the utility company. You're also committed perpetually to be at their mercy and have whatever rates that they're telling you they're going to raise them to, and you have no control over it. This again, I go back to FP&L raising their rates because I'm here in Sarasota, Florida, and that's what we have is FP&L. They're looking for an 18% rate increase. So you're stuck with them for however long you want electricity. So why not? Again, I like to use the analogy of cars versus electricity. People are really familiar with how the car buying experience works. So the difference with committing to 25 years and not committing to 25 years and sticking with the utility company is like buying a car. So you can choose to buy a car and you have a fixed payment on that car. Once it's paid off, you own it, free and clear. No payment on the car, still get to drive that car, it's yours. Same thing with solar. If you have a 25-year commitment, we do have other options. First off, there's cash, obviously, but then there's, we have anything from 5 to 7 to 10 to 15 year to 20-year options, depending on what you're interested in. There are other options if 25 years specifically is not what you're looking for. But if it's just not wanting a commitment, then go back to that car that you had a commitment on, that you paid off, and now versus the car on the right side where you never pay it off. You're paying the same, you have to pay a monthly price on it, and guess what? That monthly price is going to increase every year on you too. And then 8 years down the road, when you've paid this car off, guess what? You're still paying on this car. You're still paying that payment, except your payments have gone up now. They're increasing. So that's what you have to ask yourself. If you don't want to commit to 25 years of solar, are you okay to committing perpetually to the utility company at an increasing rate on top of it? Another thing that I tell people too, a lot of us will say it, is with all the initiatives, the clean energy initiatives out there that are being putting some pressure on these utility companies that are using, whether it's nuclear, coal, whatever the energy may be, to go green. I tell everybody, you're going solar one way or another. You can either go solar with the utility company at what their costs are and what prices they give you and what they tell you you're going to have to pay, or you can go solar on your own terms. You can pick the price that you want to pay. You can be in control of what you're paying. You can actually pay it off too, like we were just talking about. That's another thing. There's an end in sight with it, and adding value to your home on top of it, all these other benefits to solar that we were talking about. So again, that's what I go back to. If you don't want to commit to 25 years, you have to ask yourself, am I okay with committing to paying the utility company perpetually? What makes BYOS different from the other solar companies? So we're not here to bash other companies. We will do that when the company has blatantly lied to somebody or taken advantage of somebody. We have no problem calling people out because of that. But we will not go in and start bashing another company. That's not our style. It's not a good way to set ourselves apart from the competition. The competition, we do notice that. We've gone into deals and they try to bash us, not even knowing us. They try to bash us. It happens, not all the time, but it still happens to us. But it's, that's insecurities. That's not they don't have a way to set themselves apart. So what they have to do is push us, or try to throw dirt on us to make us look bad when they're the ones that are covered in mud. But they have to try to throw a little dirt on us to make them look dirty, or make us look dirty as well, when that's not the case. So what sets us apart are a few things. Customer experience is everything to us. Nowadays with the internet, we know that anybody can go online, they can read reviews, more importantly, they can leave reviews, which is good. We're glad we push for reviews. We want more reviews. We want as many reviews as we can get, because we know that we're doing our part and a good job to work with our customers. So the customer experience is going to be first for us. We have a full project coordination team who is amazing, and we get specific calls from homeowners thanking us for our project coordination team and what they do for them. We set the expectation for the homeowner. So we will tell them, our project coordination team will first ask, how often do you want to be contacted? We have some customers that want to be contacted regularly, some customers that don't want to be contacted. We have some that just want, email only. We've never even talked to them. All we've ever done is email them, and they just want to be emailed. So we customize your experience for how exactly you want it. We don't want to over communicate with you if that's not what you want. We don't want to under communicate with you if you want more communication. So with the COVID era that came through, a lot of projects, a lot of things, universally, but specifically with us in solar, caused some things to slow down. So there were some different permitting things that caused some delays. So there are things that are sometimes out of our control, but we try to relay that to the homeowner as well. So our project coordination team is one of the first things, which is grouped with our customer experience as well. Then our energy advisors. We're a sales company, but we hate the word sales rep because it has a negative feeling towards it. Nobody likes. I can speak personally for myself as well. Nobody likes going to buy a car. You'll drive through the lot and try to avoid eye contact with any sales rep there because you specifically don't want to deal with them. So we don't want that feeling for anybody with solar. That's why we call ourselves energy advisors. It's not just a term though. It's not just to get around sales rep and we call ourselves energy advisors, but we're really sales reps, but they don't know that. No, that's not what we have that for. We have that specifically because that's what we are, is energy advisors. We are a quality over quantity type of company. And I even say it to a fault. It could be to a fault. We could lose out on sales because there's other companies out there that will push you, that are going to push the homeowner or yourself to get solar with them. They'll try to throw something out there like you can cancel. You have a 3-day right to cancel. Just sign up today. Just go ahead and get it. So we don't do that though. We set the expectation with you. We're there to provide you with information. We're there to, again, advise you. It's in our title. We're there to advise you on the different options that are out there. Try to get some fact-finding questions to find out if you're retired, if you own your own business, and a tax credit could be really beneficial for you. All these different questions that we like to ask so that we can really find what could be the best product for you. But we'll also lay out, if you want to see all the options, we'll lay all the options out there and discuss each individual option with you to help you make the best decision. A lot of people want to sleep on it, or they want to talk to their spouse, and we hear it all the time that these other companies come in and they felt pushed into it. We get the calls all the time. So another thing that we won't do is push anybody into getting solar. We even went as far, again, yesterday, somebody had a bad experience with the solar company. This is a more common thing we're seeing in the solar world right now with homeowners getting solar, unfortunately, which is why we're doing this and why we're trying to change that negative look and feel on solar, is because we have other companies that are giving it this bad look and feel. Yesterday had a homeowner call our sales line. It was the other day. He called and said, "Hey, I have a solar system I paid $30,000 for, and as soon as I paid my final payment, or I got everything set up, he had financed it. As soon as everything was installed and done, I called the sales company because it wasn't working. I'm getting full bills. I can read it on my on the app on my phone that my solar's not working. Well, they won't answer my calls now." So that's the other thing, is we are, as a company, trying to right the wrong of other companies. So we went out there, met with them, are working on a troubleshoot for them right now. There's no money, the money's already been made on the sale of the solar. There's no money to be made on trying to go help somebody with diagnostics on their system. But that's not the point. The point is trying to do the right thing by people and trying to give solar a better reputation than what it has. So that's another thing that we're, sets us apart from the competition as well. All right, I was told I can't get solar in Memphis right now. That's true with pretty much everybody but one or two companies. Fortunately, we are one of the few companies in Memphis that can get solar. Here's the thing with Memphis. Every every city, every state, every county, they all have different utility companies depending on where you are. Those utility companies have different buyback rates. So what buyback rate is what they will pay you for your solar electricity. So if you have solar and you're overproducing, you have more than what you need, which can be a good thing. But Memphis, for example, isn't a good thing. Memphis, you don't want to overproduce because the utility company there, they don't pay you. They pay a very, very small amount for the electricity that you produce with solar. So you really don't want to overproduce there. So that's another thing that we advise on is we don't recommend, getting 100% solar. We recommend solar with a battery. So we have very specific ways to show you the savings, to show you what makes the most sense. We explain why that makes sense as well to you. So we want you to understand the ins and outs of solar. At the end of the day, if we lay everything out there to you and we show you everything and it's still not right for you, we're not going to push you. We're not there to have anybody make a decision that they don't want to make. It's at the end of the day, it's going to be up to you to what decision that you want to make. Going back a little bit to also the benefits of solar is we haven't even really touched on is environmental reasons. Obviously, we hear constantly with global warming, different heat waves coming through. It's a better environmental choice than what we have currently. So it is one way that we can do our part with helping the environment. There's so when we do a proposal for a customer, we put in all your details, how much energy you use annually, and these proposal tools have built in them. Once we lay everything out there, it'll actually show you the offset of your carbon footprint by going solar. So it'll tell you solar that you're getting on your house, and it's not just guessing these numbers, these are actual numbers. It'll tell you on your house that it's like you're driving X amount of miles less per year just by going solar. It's like you're planting X amount of trees per year by going solar. So all these different benefits that you get to see and feel better about, on top of feeling good about saving money, that you're playing a part in helping the environment as well. So just another benefit there. We've gone over a little bit with tax credits. The financing options that we have are really flexible too. I can get a little bit into financing. Again, with the different options that are out there nowadays, it's so beneficial to go solar. It makes too much sense not to go solar with nothing down, nothing out of pocket, everything being transferred. If anybody has any more questions, again, feel free to post in the chat about the different financing options that we have. So, some frequently asked questions, getting into those a little bit. So the most common one, which, might have been asked on here before, but it's, how much does solar cost? So I don't think I've answered that directly, but, 9 times out of 10, the first question that's asked is, how much does it cost right away? And again, it's no money down, no money out of pocket. As long, if you're paying cash, a little different, obviously, but otherwise it's nothing down, nothing out of pocket. So just going back over the cost of solar again, how much will I save? We've gone over how much you'll save. It differs person to person again, but on average, we see 20 to 30% savings when somebody goes solar. So selling your home, we went over selling your home. If you sell your home, it can fully transfer over to the new homeowner. What we always recommend, because then the next question will always be, I don't remember the last time somebody asked me that question, what if I sell my home? I don't remember the last time that somebody didn't follow that up with, well, what if they don't want the solar? It's another really common question. It's an understandable question too. So if you, so I'm looking at another question here. I had a friend who said it took 6 months to have their solar installed. Why? It doesn't seem like a big deal. I'll come back to what I was talking about to answer this one. Um, yeah, so that could be the case. Depending on your jurisdiction, depending on the city, county, the town that you live in, there is a certain process to going solar. So, we see some people get installed as quick as 20-25 days. And then we have even seen as a company where it does extend out, especially during COVID, where these cities shut down and the process took a little bit longer than normal. But it very much so depends on where you're located. We have some when we go to file a permit. So let me lay out the process first. Let me go back a couple steps and lay out the process to getting solar. So to get solar, you initially you have your contract that you sign, you agree on. Next step is we do a site survey. So a site survey is our electrical technician comes out. He gets on the roof to measure because there's certain fire setbacks that we have to follow. So he'll take measurements of the roof. He'll go take a look at your main panel on the side of your house because there are certain specifications for the main panel. So he'll take pictures of that, make notes of that. We'll go back, start working on your design plans. So we work on where the solar panels can be located, where we can put them, according to the jurisdiction, what they'll allow with the fire setback standards. So we'll get working on the design plans. Once the design plans are done and approved, we send them to you to approve. So we want to make sure that you're okay with where the panels are laid out. There are better parts of your roof, south, typically in the northern hemisphere, the south-facing roof is always going to be ideal. It gets the most sun, it gets constant sun. East and west are good too, they're good options. North, is where we start to get a little bit, depending on, the pitch of your roof, some other details, that could be where we might advise you, this house might not be the best for solar, but a little bit different story there. But we want to make sure that you're okay with the design plans first, and then the permitting. So this is where I was getting to with how long it could take. The permitting part. So different jurisdictions, different cities, or counties or municipalities have different timelines to get turned around on permits. Some are 5 business days, some are 7 business days, some are 30 days, some are 4 weeks. So it just depends on what that timeline is. And it's really, unfortunately, that part's out of our hands on how quickly we can get that turned around from them. So that could really cause a slight delay if they're kind of dragging their feet with it on getting solar turned around and getting you installed. Because after the permitting process, well, then we can set an install date for you, and then we're off to the races. So it could take a little bit of time. There could be some underlying things, like we had to, your main panel, like I said, if it's not how it needs to be specifically for solar, we'll come in and do an upgrade on it. We'll get it to where it can support solar. So that also takes some time if we have to do that. But we call that out on a site survey too. But we try to set the right expectations depending on your house. If it's an older house that we know might need a few things upgraded, then we'll tell you the process might be a little bit longer versus you have a brand new house, you have a 200 amp, solar ready main panel. The process is going to go a little bit quicker, a little bit faster. I have a tree nearby my house, so is that going to be a problem? Yes. If you want solar, it's going to be a problem. The only thing that solar panels need to work is sun. So we have seen quite a few homes that have solar that are completely covered by a tree, and it's new solar. It's not like they had solar from 20 years ago and the tree grew and is now shading them. No, it's actually, the solar company did not advise the homeowner that your solar is not going to produce. There's no point. This really isn't a good fit for you, for your house, because you have too many trees. If you cut the trees back, if you trim the trees and keep them trimmed, solar could work. We want to make sure that the sun exposure that you get It's still good though. But that is something that we see is you obviously do have to have trees. It's even in the contracts that you agree to keep any trees or bushes or anything like that trimmed over the course of you having solar, to make sure that you don't have shading, you don't have branches that fall on the solar panels and break them. So we call that out ahead of time, before any contract signing, before anything, to make sure that we're all under the same impression that trees will be trimmed back. So if you have a tree nearby your house, if it's shading your roof, more importantly, that will be a problem. But there are ways to get around it. All right, so let's see. See if we have any more Q&A. If not, I'm going to go back down some of the other frequently asked questions. Here's a good one. Here's two good ones. Grid power outages. So another common question is, hey, if I have solar and the power goes out with the utility company, because you have to stay connected to the utility company, which is part of their rules and regulations. If the grid goes down and we lose power in the neighborhood, do I still have power because I have solar on my roof? You would think the answer is yes. The answer, well, it depends. But if it's only solar panels, the answer is no, you will not have power. The reason being is solar is still, again, you're still attached to the grid. So you're still tied into the electric company. So when their power goes out, the solar power goes out as well. But if you have a battery or even a backup generator, we also do natural gas backup generators for your home as well, that we can tie in to financing, so you're not paying anything out of pocket for it. But if you have a battery or a backup generator that we have installed, then you still will have power, yes. Because what happens is the solar panels will produce energy, it will run down and can charge your battery as well as feed your home with power. So once you charge that battery, that power is yours to use. So you will have energy as long as you have power in that battery. And how much power depends on what size home you have, how much you have pulling from that battery. It's not going to run, one battery won't run your whole house. It won't run your air conditioning, your fridge, all the appliances, anything like that, all the lights. The main thing it won't run, like the biggest misconception, the main thing it won't run is your HVAC unit. It's one of the more disappointing things. Battery technology is advancing, but it's not top of the line. Like, solar panels they're not growing by leaps and bounds because the technology is up there, is really good. Batteries are creeping up to it. A lot of times we don't even advise homeowners on getting batteries in most areas. If you don't have much in the way of power outages, couldn't really take advantage of it, or you'll never use your battery, then yeah, it might not be the best option for you. But if you have power outages that are fairly consistent, I had a customer whose spouse was on oxygen and needed power at all times. So he didn't have gas, so we couldn't do a backup generator, which is normally what we recommend, because you can run your whole house on one generator, and it's a little bit less expensive than a battery. But he didn't have that, so we did recommend a battery for him. And then from there, sometimes it's 2 batteries, depending on how much you want to run, will depend on the amount of batteries that we install. So to go back and answer that question, if the power goes out with the utility company, does my power go out? Yes, if it's only solar that you have, and then no, if you have a battery or a backup generator installed as well. So a couple of options right there. Last thing I wanted to bring up with everybody before we end this is one thing is warranties. People think if they get solar, well, I don't want to get solar because I don't want to have to worry about anything happening. I don't know anything about solar. I don't know anything about electricity. Something goes out, I'm not getting up on that roof, and I'm gonna have to, I'll be like the guy that I just mentioned that we saw yesterday. I'm gonna have solar and it's not even working. Paid all this money for it. Well, that's the good thing too, is warranties. factory warranties from panel manufacturers. We use Made in America solar panels that come with 25-year warranties on the panels, 30-year warranties on the panels. We have 25-year parts and labor warranties. So if we have to come out and do any work, that's covered as well. There's nothing that you have to pay out of pocket if anything goes wrong with your system. The only thing that is kind of a caveat there is homeowners insurance. We do recommend, if you're financing or if you pay cash for the system, to get homeowners insurance on your system, so that in case anything happens, force of nature, maybe something happens like that and it damages your panels, that it's covered. We do have some options as a solar company. We do have options internally that we recommend to homeowners for insurance. So we do have an answer to that, so we can help you, get covered with it as well. With leasing, it's a little bit different story. Leasing, the nice thing with leasing, if you decided to do a lease, is everything is covered by the leasing company. So there's nothing that could happen that the lease wouldn't cover, unless it's a golf ball strike. If you live on a golf course and a golf ball hits a panel, breaks a panel, somebody has a heck of a drive and they break a panel, well then that's the only thing that isn't covered by a lease. But everything else, force of nature or otherwise, is covered by it. So hopefully we were able to answer some questions. We'll do this, we're doing Facebook Live every same day, the same time, every month. So if you have anybody that is interested in solar, that has a lot of hesitancies on solar, that has question after question regarding solar, send them a link to this. Let them know what it is. We'll send out invites as well to everybody to remind everybody. But we want to answer the questions. We want you to get any questions that you have, any hesitancies that you have. We want to put those, give you some relief, whether you decide to go solar or not. At least we were able to answer some questions for you, so that if you have somebody that is interested, you have some knowledge now that you can share with them as well. So feel free to share this. What we're going to send out reminders, but we will have this on the same day, the same time, every single month. So we really want to help educate everybody on solar. So that's what we're doing this for consistently. Again, if you're interested in getting a quote, we do have it in the chat at the top under BYOSolar Live Q&A, BYOSolar.com/live on the web. Get a quote. You can go to our website as well if you just want to scroll through the website and you're not interested in a quote right now. It's www.byosolar.com. I don't know if anybody says www. I don't think so. I think that's like 10 years ago. But anyways, BYOSolar.com is the website. We have a number on there. You can call and just talk to somebody if you have some questions about it, or we have some different questions that we answer. We even have a PDF brochure that you can download to get more information on there as well. So I appreciate everybody that was able to jump on here. Any questions, feel free to post them. Check us out, or we'll see you next time, next month, same day, same time. Thank you everybody for jumping on.